Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sean Smith, and I work inside of the Office of Student Life at the University of Michigan-Dearborn, and I'm here to present a VictorsLink workshop to help everyone navigate VictorsLink a little bit better. So, the main things that we're going to touch on today are important forms, creating and updating events, members and officers, news articles, and then lastly, a few miscellaneous features that VictorsLink offers its users. So, moving on to the first on the list, we have important forms. So, starting from the top, we have the locker and cubicle application. So, this is for student organizations or clubs that are looking for a safe and secure place to store their materials so that they don't have to worry about them getting lost, stolen, or otherwise misplaced. So, if this is something that your org is looking for, this will be the form that you will fill out. And the way you access it is when you get to the homepage of VictorsLink, there will be tabs at the top, and then you will go to forms, and then you can find all of these forms located there. Next on the list, we have the bulletin board reservation. And with that, you would want to fill out this form if ever you are looking for one of the bulletin boards inside of the university center to reserve for you and your org to advertise any flyers, events, programs, or elections coming up that you want the general student body to know. And then that way you can showcase all of your hard work there. Next on the list are two that go hand in hand, the SOAC program funding application and then the follow-up form. You would fill out the program funding application if and when you need extra funding to put on an event or program that your student org is sponsoring. So if you need this, fill out the program funding application, and then after your event is over, you want to fill out the follow-up form and follow the instructions located on there. Next, you have the Registered Student Organization Officer and Advisor Update form. This form is for president, treasurers, and advisors to fill out if and when the president, treasurer, or advisor changes in the student organization. Any other position outside of here can be updated through VictorsLink, through anyone that has full access to the page. On the other side, you have the authorized signer agreement form, and this form is exclusively for advisors and treasurers, and this gets updated whenever your organization gets a new treasurer or advisor. For this form, it is required. Otherwise, your org wouldn't be in good standing. And then without this form, your organization can't book rooms, have events, hold bake sales, etc. So it is very important. So make sure that if and when those criteria are met, you are following up with these steps that are listed here. Next, we have the copy and print request. So this form is for when you don't want to use your student account balance to print advertisements for your student org. You would fill out this form, and then a staff member inside of the Office of Student Life will print out any advertisements or other materials that you need for your organization, and then you can pick it up right from the Office of Student Life, and we will send you an email when it's ready for pickup. And the prices are listed as follows. So next, we can talk about events, which are the bread and butter of student organizations. So when every student organization has their main homepage, we will use La Mezcla, for example. At the top right, if you are someone that has full access to manage this page, you will see a button that says Manage Organization. Once you click this button, a pop-out I would say a drop-down menu slides out from the left side of the page. There will be an option for events. You would click on this, and then it'll take you to another page where you can click create an event, and then it'll take you to this page right here, and then it will allow you to put in the title of your event, the description of the event, time, date, and a couple other specifics that are needed to create the event on your page. Once it's created, it shows up both on the events tab on VictorsLink and then also on your main student organization homepage. Nextly, we have the process for bake sales and promo tables. You'll be able to find this in the same place you can find the rest of the forms. You submit it, and then it will be approved and booked by the Office of Student Life. And then an important thing to keep in mind when you're creating all of these events are to always include a backup date and location, and then always make sure to check the VictorsLink comments, because that's how the Office of Student Life and us or consultants stay in communication with you about your events. And that is the best place for you to stay updated so that the process goes along swiftly and smoothly. So the next thing we have to talk about are members and officers. So for your organization to be considered an active organization, you need at least 5 people in your VictorsLink page at all times. These people are listed inside of your roster, and then you want to make sure that your roster is updated frequently so that you can know who's in your organization and that you have a way to contact them if and when you need to. So a function that you can have with the roster is that you're able to send out emails to all of the members that are listed on your roster. And this can include things like meeting reminders, updates, or anything of the sort that you need to remind your org about. And then the way a student would join the roster for your student organization is once they're signed in on VictorsLink, they would just go to the home page of your organization, and then they would click the Join Organization button in the top right corner of the page. And then after they click Join, a person who has access to manage your student organization will be able to choose whether to accept or deny them into your org. And then if they're accepted, they will be put on the roster. And if they're denied, then they wouldn't show on the roster, as you might think. So that basically wraps it up for the members. For the officer side of the house, there are the president, treasurer, and advisor who are given full access to manage the main page of your student organization. If you have an executive board in your student organization, you're able to give these people access to the org, whether it be full access or limited access, based upon your own individual discretion. For president, treasurer, and advisor, these 3 positions have to be updated by the Office of Student Life. However, any other positions, whether they be e-board members or chair members, these positions can be managed and updated and by anyone who has access to the VictorsLink page. And that is all for members and officers. Next, we have news articles. So news articles serve as a way to promote your organizations and your events on VictorsLink. Articles allow you to include more information on your organization or event, and they can be posted at any time. So if ever you wanted to go into more detail around anything that you're promoting or you're putting on in the future, news articles would be the best way to do that. Or you can always turn it away if you want. To post a news article, it works similarly to how you would make an event. So backtracking to how we created events, you would go to Manage Organization, go over to the Events tab, or the pull down menu, and then right under the events tab, there is a tab for news. And then you would click create a news article and then just follow the steps there. And you will be a-okay to create a news article for your student organization. Next, we have a couple other features that VictorsLink offers. So first on the list, we have the option for you to track attendance for your events or programs that you're putting on. So instead of tracking attendance physically on a sheet of paper, you have an option to track attendance through VictorsLink and have that information recorded digitally instead of on a hard sheet of paper. It's just an alternative way if it is something that interests you. And if you want more information around how to do this, you can come by the Office of Student Life, and then one of our staff or paraprofessional staff members inside of the office will sit down with you and then walk you through how it works so that you can use it for any event that you please. Next, we have the option for you to hold elections. So with this option, you would just go to you would go to the elections tab and then press create elections. And then once you create the form, you can send it out to all of the members on your roster. And then it works the same way you would in a regular election. People in the roster would vote on whichever candidates that are running for a position or a certain thing, and then VictorsLink records all of the results, and then you can announce those results whichever way you see fit, whether it be through VictorsLink or through email. And then a few others are the ability to track your community service hours. So if your student organization is one that does a lot of community service and you want a way to track that service, you are given this option through VictorsLink so that you can keep all of that information and record that data inside of a system as well, other than writing it down manually, which is hard to keep track of. Next, there is an option for you to find events. So whether it be events that you have or different student organizations have, you can look through all of the events that are registered on VictorsLink through the events tab on the top left of the page here, if you can see my mouse. Next, you actually have the ability to register to vote on VictorsLink and then sign up for alerts related to it. And then lastly, if you want to keep track of all of the submissions that you are submitting for forms, there is an option for you to do that so that you can know what you submitted and when you submitted it so that you can be on top of things. But that brings us to the end of our presentation. If you guys have any questions, feel free to email us and we will get back to you as soon as we can with answers to any and all of your questions. Thank you for joining us. And this is Sean signing out. Have a great rest of the day, everyone.